Dear friends, it's my honor to welcome you to Wheels of Courage, a tribute to Gino Bartali. As we gather today, we not only remember an extraordinary athlete, but a man whose moral compass turned his bicycle into a weapon of hope. His faith guided him through darkest of days and saved hundreds of lives. His story reminds us that in the face of cruelty and hatred, one person's courage can help rewrite history. And yet, as we honor Bartali's legacy, we cannot ignore the painful reality of today. In days when anti-Semitism is at its highest peaks since the Holocaust, Israel is facing boycotts and Jewish lives are targeted just for being Jewish. We must ask ourselves, where are the Bartalis of today? The silence today speaks very loudly, but we are here to break the silence. We are honored to be joined by these extraordinary voices who embody resilience, solidarity, and faith. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for standing in the right side of history. To open this beautiful and important event, I'm happy to welcome Sasha Reutemann, CAM CEO.
So thank you very much for listening, for coming and taking the time today to be at this important event. We're going to have a very meaningful speaker, a story that the world needs to hear today. And why today we do that? Why today we want to honor Gino Bartali? We want to honor him because today when we see the rise of anti-Semitism across the world, across Europe, across the United States, in Australia, everywhere we see more hatred against the Jewish communities. We need to remember that when we are the darkest time of humanity, some people stood up. Some people didn't win with the majority. They went against everything that was happening to save human life. And today, when Jews are under attack, we need to remember the heroes of the past to build a better future. And today, we need Gino Bartali in every country, in every place on earth, because it's the right thing to do to fight against anti-Semitism, to fight for Jewish communities. They are under threats again, like we saw in 1930s. When Jewish businesses were under attack, Jewish intellectuals attacked, Jewish leaders attacked. We see that again in every city and every street in Europe and United States. So we're going to learn about the story of the righteous among the nation. We're going to listen to magnificent speakers and exceptional leaders to share the meaning of his story and what they take today in their world. It's also very special for me because I'm a grandchild of Holocaust survivors that were saved by Righteous Among the Nation in Belgium. So I know what it means to stood up when no one wants to do it, when no one is ready to do it, and they saved my grandparents. So if I'm alive today, it's because of Righteous Among the Nation, like Gino, that took the responsibility on itself to save human life. Because saving humans is the right thing to do, protecting minorities is the right thing to do, and making sure that Jews that living in your country are being protected properly. So thanks to all the speakers, to all the viewers that take the time to learn and listen today.
I'm happy to welcome to our headquarters here in Tel Aviv, Joel Seisenwein, head of Righteous Among the Nations, Yad Vashem. As the one responsible for all Righteous Among the Nations, and you know probably a story or two, or all of them, what do you find special about Bartali's story?
Well, first of all, the Righteous Among the Nations are a very diverse group. It's very hard to find one common denominator among them. I mean, we have people from different social stratas, different backgrounds, different countries. In this case, we have someone who could be defined who would be defined in the present time as a celebrity. Mm-hmm. He's a very known athlete at the time, and still he puts his own life at risk by doing these acts of aid. These are secret activities. He's linked to the underground or to an underground network, and I think that's somewhat unique. He has a lot. I mean, when you think about it, he has a lot to lose by doing so.
That is actually very unique because today, as we see, fame is very important to most people, sometimes more than their lives. Mm-hmm. And he risked everything: family, fame, and his own life. Mm-hmm. He was truly a unique personality.
This is a unique group altogether. again, I mean, you have people, you have a known athlete like Bartali, and you have completely anonymous peasants in various places in Europe, and it's very hard to find something common among them, except, as I mentioned, literally sometimes when a knock on the door came, and people Jews pleading with these people to help them and save their lives, they rose to the occasion, so to speak. This was a unique kind of act, quite rare. The number 28,000 might sound like a large number, but actually it's a marginal number when you think about the number of victims.
Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence and knowledge, and may we find today as many Bartalis as possible.
I hope so.
We are honored to have with us Sergio Della Pergola, Professor Emeritus and former Chairman of the Hebrew University. Thank you so much for your time, Professor Pergola.
Hello, I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I know that the knowledge you have of Bartali is exceptional, so we would love to hear your insights and the story from your eyes.
Yes, thank you. Let me just say a couple of words about myself. I am a resident of Jerusalem. I was born in Italy during World War II, so I am a survivor of the Shoah, and I was rescued by good people who allowed us, my parents and me as an infant, to escape to Switzerland and to be saved from the Nazi and fascist persecution. Now today have later come to Israel on Aliyah in 1966, and since I've been a professor of demography at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. So my primary interest is the Jewish world and Jewish communities in Israel and around the world, but also the study of anti-Semitism and the attitudes of general society toward Jews and the interactions of Jews and non-Jews in the world. In this context, I have had the honor of being appointed as a member of the Yad Vashem's Committee for the Righteous of the Nations. Those brave people who put their own lives in danger in order to save the lives of Jews who were endangered during the Shoah and World War II. And I was particularly pleased and even moved to be part of the process which recognized the great and famous Italian athlete, the champion of cyclism, Gino Bartali, as righteous of the nations. And to this effect, let me show you a few images and give the story. The story is truly very particular. All right, so let's start. Gino Bartali was a great champion. He was the Italian champion. He won all of the major competitions. He lived in Florence, basically, and it must be said he was a very fervent Catholic. He had many Jewish friends, but of course, sports and cyclism was his main activity. Now, you must remember, we all know that Italy was under the fascist regime, and this is an historical image. Incidentally, on September 18, 1938, this is the famous speech by Benito Mussolini, the infamous Duce of Italy, who was proclaiming the Italian fascist laws against the Jews. He was saying that the Jews constituted a danger, although the Jews were a very tiny minority in Italy of about 1 per 1,000 of the total population. Mussolini is saying in this image that the Jews constitute a great danger to Italy. From here, the persecutions must start. And then in October 1943, the Germans invaded Italy, the Germans which had a pact of action with Italy. And from that moment, the Shoah began in Italy. And in the end, thousands perished. But there were also good people. And soon after, we will see a committee to save the Jews was created. Here, I'm giving you an example of how tragic was the situation in Italy. This document shows a sort of permit to get food for the Jews of my family who had been hiding in Florence, Firenze. And you see in the upper left corner of this document the declaration, the stamp that we pertain to the Jewish race. You see in the bottom part, my name, Della Pergola Sergio. I am the son of Massimo and Adele, and we are all Jews. And with this document, we circulate begging for food in the shops who are willing to concede us. This was very dangerous and absolutely not human. Not everybody is aware of what was the condition of the Jews in Italy at that time.
Sergio, how old were you in this document?
In that document, I was 1 year old, and shortly after we could escape to Switzerland on foot on the Christmas night of 1943. That was really a miracle. It must be said that miracles do not happen without the participation of good people. And the key figure in this was the Cardinal of Florence, the Archbishop Elia Angelo Dalla Costa, upper left. This great man was a friend of the Jews. He helped with any possible means, and he was instrumental in saying the right words, which allowed us finally to find refuge in friendly Switzerland. But returning to Bartali, around Cardinal Dalla Costa were a number of other priests and nuns, which are represented in this picture. These are those who helped the cardinal to provide help to the Jews. Each of these persons has been proclaimed righteous of the nations. So we must give due credit to the good ones along with the bad ones that were trying to kill the Jews. It was also true that there were several Jews who were participating in the network, and primarily the chief rabbi of Florence, a young rabbi, Nathan Cassuto, who was also a doctor, and others. And they made all possible efforts to rescue the Jews. Nathan Cassuto, unfortunately, was captured in November 1943 and was brought to Auschwitz, where he was killed. This is the context where Jews were persecuted, and very good Catholics, with the help of Jews, were trying to help them. And one of those who were called by Cardinal Dalla Costa to help was the great champion, then a young man, Gino Bartali, who was born in 1916. And here you have a picture that he awarded to one of his supporters called Giorgio Goldenberg, who was also personally saved by Gino Bartali. In the picture is from 1941 with the signature of the young champion. What was Bartali's mission? Bartali was asked by the cardinal to go and bring falsified documents, and these are examples of falsified identity documents that were provided to Jews so that Jews could be hidden. These are Italian identity cards. The two people portrayed are an elderly couple of Jews who lived in Florence. Their personal names and data were falsified, and the identity cards were printed in a town called Assisi, which was about 175 kilometers from Florence. And the athlete Bartali was faking training runs, and so he was pedaling from Florence down to Assisi. The distance is 175 kilometers and back, which means 350 kilometers, or way more than 200 miles. And he was bringing back the falsified documents that were printed by a good printer who is also righteous of the nations by the name of Brizzi. And the falsified documents printed in Assisi were brought back to Florence, and then they were distributed to the Jews who needed hiding, as in the example that we have seen. Bartali did this many times, also to other cities. and he is documented to have helped the rescue and safety and the life of many Jews, thanks to his courage, bravery, and his athletic capacity. Having recognized the Bartali heroic activity, Yad Vashem, in July 7, 2013, awarded Gino Bartali the title of Righteous of the Nations. This is the certificate of honor by which Yad Vashem committee, presided then by Supreme Judge Jacob Tirkel and by the Director General Avner Shalev, awards the degree and the title of Righteous of the Nations to Gino Bartali, who was dead in the meantime. And finally, here we see on the wall of the Righteous at Yad Vashem, Bartali's son, Andreas Bartali, pointing to the name of his late father among the names of the Righteous of the Nations honorated at Yad Vashem on the wall of the Righteous. So this is the moving and very special story of Gino Bartali, a great champion, a great hero, and someone to whom many Jews, including me in a sense, owe their life. So may Bartali's memory and the memory of so many other Righteous of the Nations be blessed, especially at this time where we see, unfortunately, the resurgence of anti-Semitism and even the discrimination and separation and persecution of Jews in different parts of the world, what we thought should be considered the civilized world, but evidently a world that has forgotten. So Heil Gino Bartali and his great activity in favor of the Jewish people. Thank you very much.
Sergio, thank you so much for this presentation and for all this information. I know that you're Israeli, but also Italian at heart. And with what is happening today in Italy, I really hope that it's a safe home for you to return and that we will find as many Bartalis as possible also today.
Let's really hope so. Let's hope.
Thank you so much for your time and information, Sergio. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am honored to welcome Priest Pier Francesco Fumagalli, a consultant of the Holy See's Commission to Religious Relations with the Jews and representative of the Vatican. Welcome.
Shalom to everyone. Thank you for the invitation to speak, to tell a few words remembering Gino Bartali. Gino Bartali was my idol when I was a child, of course, 70 years ago. The nickname of Ginettaccio maybe is familiar to the people of my generation. And then actually I am a retired librarian in Ambrosiana Library, emeritus doctor of that library. I spent some years in the Holy See's Commission for Religious Relations with the Jews 30 years ago under the pontificate of Saint John Paul II. And later, I am consultant now of this commission, member of the bilateral commission of religious relations between this Vatican Commission and the chief rabbinate of the State of Israel. We started that work in 2002. And then again, in this eve of Rosh Hashanah, together with good wishes for the feast, we are now in a terrible situation in Israel with the war against Hamas, and therefore the work to combat anti-Semitism is very important. And I think Gino Bartali, our Ginettaccio, was a true example of combating anti-Semitism by faith love, civic commitment, and very strong, courageous action. Means the teaching of Ginetaccio, of Gino Bartali, still give to me great encouragement, because he was a man of faith, Christian faith, Catholic faith, and then for that he was educated on love for the Jews, even in time what was difficult, 70, 80, 90 years ago, after the Shoah. And therefore, he was really interested in loving with compassion and for saving people. That is a teaching of the true Christian faith, which come out from the commandments of the Torah. That is first point. Second point, which is not enough, because some people can be convinced of the Christian faith, but not having interested in the Jewish people and Jewish faith. The second is a civic commitment for democracy, for freedom, and the social fraternity, solidarity with the Jews in need during the Shoah, in Italy, in the time when under Nazi German fascists and Germans, Italian fascists and German Nazis were cooperating for the genocide of the Shoah. And that is also the second aspect. Faith, civic and social commitment for freedom, democracy, justice, peace, and all saving life of the Jews in danger. But again, the two elements are theoretically good if there is no the courage, the taking risk, even of life risk of life in that time, then to be a human being full of courage, of initiatives, and with keeping in mind all the risk and the balance and the capacity to organize and to help to assist the Jewish people in need during the Shoah. That is the third aspect. And I think the three elements still are very important in our present day, in our society. The social, civic sentiment of solidarity between, in that case, Italian. I am the president of the Italy-Israel Association of Milan. Then I think it's necessary from the civic point of view to start in sciences, literature, friendship, and all kind of relations between Jewish people, Israel, and Italian people, etc. The second aspect of faith. Our faith demands the love for the stranger, including, of course, all the people in need in time of the genocide. And the third is the courage to do that, going to the action, to the practical action, even at personal risk, even at personal greatest risk of life. That was the example of Ginetaccio, and I hope that he will continue to inspire us even today. Thank you, and Shana Tova.
All the way from Rome with her message, a Jewish leader, Chair Anti-Semitism Committee of the Jewish Agency for Israel, former World Chair Board of Committees of Keren HaYesod, Joanna Arbiv.
I want to thank the Combat Antisemitism organization for inviting me to address this prestigious forum. Today we talk about the story of a man who rode far beyond the world of cycling. His name was Gino Bartali, an Italian champion who won the Giro d'Italia and the Tour de France. On the surface, he was a legendary athlete, and he was. But behind the scenes, he was something far greater. A man of courage who chose to do what was right, even when it was dangerous, even when it was unpopular. During the Second World War, Italy was under fascist rule. Jews were being persecuted, hunted down, deported, and brutally murdered in concentration camps. Bartali, at the height of his fame, used his bicycle not just for sports, but for saving lives. He carried forged documents hidden in the frame of his bike, pretending he was training. Each ride was a risk. If he had been discovered, it could cost him his life and the life of his loved ones. Yet he never hesitated, and he saved lives. He never wavered because he believed that saving lives was worth more than winning medals or public approval. What makes Bartali's story even more remarkable is that he never sought recognition. He never spoke about his actions, saying that good is something you do and not something you talk about. For him, true courage was not about applause, but about integrity. He knew that sometimes the right path is the loneliest one, and yet he chose it. His example reminds us that courage is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, and deeply personal. It is the decision to act according to our values, even when others do not understand, and when the world seems against us. In our own lives, we may not face the same dangers as Bartali, but we all encounter moments where we must choose. Do we follow the crowd, or do we stand by what we believe is right? Bartali teaches us that greatness lies in that choice, in having the strength to do good, even if no one is watching. I personally had the pleasure, as president of the Jerusalem Foundation, to be one of the promoters of the Giro d'Italia in Israel in 2018. It was a moment when the legacy of Gino Bartali was displayed and the beauty of Israel was presented to millions of viewers around the world. A moment of great pride for Israel that unfortunately today, in 2025, seems very far. And yet, we have to be optimistic. We have to believe that there are more Bartalis in this world that will spread the truth about who we are as a people and about what Israel represents for humanity. I want to conclude by praising the heroism of each and every one of the soldiers of the IDF and praying for the safe return of our hostages. May we see them back, Bekarov, soon. Am Israel, Hai.
Sending his important message, especially today, CEO of the Maccabiah, Roy Hessing.
Shalom, my name is Roy Hessing. I'm the CEO of the Maccabiah, which was supposed to take place in summer 2025, but unfortunately, due to the war, we had to postpone it for summer 2026. And I believe that all of us will make sure that it's going to be the most meaningful Maccabiah that will strengthen the connection between the Jewish communities around the world and the state of Israel, especially in those difficult days while Israel is still under war. We're going to have a lot of competitions, but I think that one of the most important emotional one will be the road race in cycling in Sderot up to Kibbutz Urim. And during the race, the riders will take place all over the places that really got heart in the October 7 events. And the name of the race will be We Will Ride Again. We do believe that via sports we can bring a lot of hope, and all of us, the Israelis, the Jews around the world, we need it today more than ever, which is really the theme of the Maccabiah. We created a very important exhibition, Unbroken, which we were going to present at the beginning and the end of this race and in other places during the Maccabiah. And I'm very excited about it. I look forward to see all of you in summer 2026 in Israel for the most important and meaningful Maccabiah ever. Am Yisrael Chai.
It is my great honor to host with us Aya Meidan from Kibbutz Be'eri. Aya Meidan, 41 years of age, mother of 3. On that Black Saturday of October 7th, Aya left her house to ride her bike that she so much loved with her partner, Yoel Weitzman. She's here to share her story. Aya, thank you for coming. את מוזמנת לשתף את הסיפור שלך, איך שתרצי, ואנחנו נמשיך משם.
אוקיי. תודה רבה שהזמנתם. בוקר 7 באוקטובר, אני יוצאת לרכיבת אופניים. אני אמורה להיפגש עם חבר שאיתו קיימתי את האימונים. שנינו מתאמנים לתחרות חצי איש ברזל, שאמור להתקיים בינואר 2024. אנחנו מתכננים מסלול שאני יוצאת מבארי והוא יוצא מסדרות, קוראים לו ליאור וייצמן. ואני לוקחת את האופניים שלי ב6:15 בבוקר, יוצאת משער הקיבוץ. ככה באוזניים עוד אני יכולה לשמוע את המוזיקה של מסיבת הנובה. בעיניים אני רואה התאספות של רוכבי שטח שמגיעים לבארי כדי לקיים את האימונים. הם לקראת תחרות שנקראת אפיק. הם מתאספים שם, כל הסביבה של בארי מלאה במסלולי אופניים. ואני יוצאת מהקיבוץ. לאחר בערך 5 דקות של רכיבה, בעצם מתחיל המתח הגדול של הטילים, ושבהתחלה נראה לי שמשהו כאן נראה מוזר, אבל אני עוד לא מתרגשת בשלב הזה, כי בתור תושבת עוטף עזה, אני מקיבוץ בארי, בתור תושבת עוטף עזה, אנחנו מכירים מציאות שבה כבר 20 שנים, שבה הכל יכול להיות שקט ורגוע, ומהר מאוד יכול להפוך את זה להסלמה של טילים, של בלונים, בלוני נפץ, עפיפוני נפץ, ואז הצבא בא, מגיב, וחוזרים לשקט וחוזרים למציאות. אם צריך, מוציאים אותנו מהבית לאיזושהי תקופה מסוימת, ואז אנחנו חוזרים. ולכן המציאות הזאת היא משהו שמוכר לי. אבל ברגע שזה התחיל ככה להיות מתח הרבה יותר גדול, ואני מתחילה לשמוע את צבע האדום, מתחיל להתקרב אליי, אני בוחרת לרדת מהאופניים ולהישכב בצד הדרך. את הטלפון הראשון אני עושה לליאור, שאיתו אני אמורה להיפגש, ואני אומרת לו, ליאור, משהו קורה פה, בוא נעצור את הרכיבה פה, כל אחד יחזור לביתו בבטחה, ונמשיך בזמנים טובים יותר. הם בלחץ מאוד מאוד גדול, וברגע שהם מגיעים אליי, הם אומרים לי, יש מחבלים בתוך הקיבוץ. עכשיו, ברגע הזה, יש הבנה שהתרחיש הכי היום שלנו בקיבוץ בארי מתגשם. כי אמרתי לעצמי, אני צריכה להיות במקום שאני יכולה לברוח, אני לא יכולה להיות מוגבלת על ידי האופניים, ואנחנו רוצים לכיוון המיגונית. וברגע הזה אנחנו מתפצלים. אישם ואני הולכים למיגונית אחת, וווסים ומחמוד הולכים למיגונית השנייה, ואנחנו צועקים לכולם שיעלו על הרכבים שלהם, ושיברחו, ושיש מחבלים בתוך הקיבוץ, ושלא יישארו. ואני מבינה שאני צריכה להישאר בתנועה. אסור לי להישאר שם. צבע אדום, פיצוצים, צעקות, אנשים בלחץ לא נורמלי. חבר'ה מהנובה, מהמסיבה, מקיאים, לא יודעים מה לעשות ולאן לברוח, ובאמת איזשהו כאוס כזה. ואז אישם אומר לי, בואי נברח, כאילו נעלה על רכב ונברח מפה. ואז אנחנו מזהים איזושהי חורשה שנמצאת לא רחוק מאיתנו, ואנחנו בוחרים לקום מהשדה ולרוץ לתוך החורשה. שהמטרה היא להיכנס כמה שיותר עמוק בין העצים, בין השיחים, מצאנו איזושהי נקודה ושם נשכבנו. ואז התחיל ירי מסיבי מאוד מאוד גדול, גם של הקסאמים, כיפת ברזל מגיבה מהצד השני, ירי של מקלעים, של פיצוצים, ואני אומרת לי, שם אנחנו כמו מתים עכשיו, אסור לנו לזוז. שאם יקרה שמישהו מסתכל עלינו מסביב, אז הוא לא רואה שאנחנו זזים, אנחנו כמו גופות. הייתה לי חולצת רכיבה שהיא לבנה, ושמתי עליה אדמה. פשוט לכלכתי את כל הלבן באדמה, שמתי קצת עלים, קצת ענפים, מה שהיה מסביב, במטרה להסתוות. על הראש שמרתי על קסדת הרכיבה שלי, לא הורדתי אותה לאורך כל הזמן הזה, ולמעשה אנחנו נכנסים בשלב הזה לאיזשהו מוד של הישרדות, כי אנחנו מבינים שאנחנו לא יכולים לצאת, אנחנו פשוט מרגישים את הקליעים פוגעים בעצים שנמצאים מסביב, ואנחנו לא יכולים להרים את הראש, כאילו זה היה ברמה כזאת שאמרנו, אם אנחנו מרימים את הראש, אנחנו חוטפים כדור. אנחנו מתחילים לשמוע צעקות, צעקות בעברית, צעקות בערבית. אנחנו שומעים אנשים בורחים, רצים, ואנחנו לא יכולים לעשות כלום. שהיא הקבוצה הכי פעילה שנמצאת, שקיימת, לא משנה באיזה יום, לא משנה באיזה שעה. ברגע שמישהי צריכה משהו, היא כותבת בקבוצה וכל האימהות עוזרות לה. ולמעשה הקבוצה הזאת הופכת להיות יומן מלחמה. בקבוצה הזאת אני מתחילה לראות הודעות על איפה המחבלים נמצאים, את מי הם שורפים, את מי הם הורגים, את מי הם לוקחים. צעקות של איפה הצבא. כי אני עדיין במחשבה, עוד רגע הצבא מגיע, עוד רגע הוא פה, וזה לא מגיע, זה פשוט לא מגיע. אני מבינה שמהקיבוץ אני לא יכולה לקבל עזרה, פשוט לא יכולה, הקיבוץ נחבש. וככה במשך 5 שעות, אישם ואני באותה נקודה, שמסביבנו פצצות, יריות, צעקות, שלא נגמר. ומדי פעם אני מתכתבת עם עומרי, עם בן הזוג שלי, שמספר לי שהוא בתוך הממד עם הילדים. יש לי 3 ילדים. שהוא בתוך הממד עם הילדים. ושהוא לא יודע מה הולך להיות. ומתוך הקבוצות האחרות אני מבינה שמי שהמחבלים נכנסו אליו הביתה, או שהוא נרצח, או שהוא נחטף. שום דבר טוב לא יוצא ברגע שהמחבלים נכנסים הביתה. ואני זוכרת את הפחד הגדול שלי לקבל הודעה כזאת מעומרי, המחבלים אצלנו בבית. זה היה הפחד הכי גדול שלי. וב-12:30 בצהריים אנחנו מקבלים הודעה מאבא שלי שם, זה המספר, תענו לו, הוא בדרך אליכם. ולקח למספר הזה בערך עוד 1.5 שעות להגיע. מדובר ביסמעיל ועוד 3 חבר'ה מרעת, בדואים, מוסלמים, מהמשפחה שלי שם, שעלו על הג'יפ הלבן שלהם, ונסעו מרעת לכיוון בארי. וב-2 בצהריים הם מגיעים אלינו. המשפחה שלו מגיע ג'יפ לבן עם 4 אנשים ממשפחת אל-קרנאווי, איסמעיל, חמד, רפי ודאעש. מגיעים, קוראים לנו לצאת אליהם. עכשיו לקח להם זמן להגיע אלינו כי לא היה GPS. ה-GPS באותו יום נפל, אי אפשר היה להגיע אלינו דרך מיקום. והם אמרו לאישם, תקשיב, תשלח לנו איזושהי תמונה שיש לך בשטח, כדי שאנחנו נבין איפה אתה נמצא, כי אנחנו לא מצליחים להבין. ואישם קם ומצלם להם גונדולות, מעין מיכלים גדולים כאלה של בוטנים, דרך זה, שאם את מסתכלת על התמונה, את אומרת, אין סיכוי שהם מגיעים אלינו דרך התמונה הזאת, אבל יש משהו כנראה אצל הבדואים, שהם מכירים את השטח כל כך טוב, במיוחד החקלאים, מכירים את השטח כל כך טוב, ומתחילים לחשב איפה יש שדות של בוטנים, ואיפה יש מיכלים, והם באמת מצליחים להגיע אלינו. מגיעים לכיוון הנובה, ובנובה הם מתחילים לראות חבר'ה בורחים. ובשלב הראשון הם מעלים את אותם אנשים שהם פוגשים, מעלים אותם על הרכב, לוקחים אותם לאזור אחר, שיהיו הרבה יותר מוגנים, והם לא ממהרים להגיע אלינו. הם כל הזמן אומרים לנו, אנחנו בדרך אליכם, עוד 20 דקות, עוד 5 דקות, עוד רבע שעה, שהם בכלל באיזושהי משימה אחרת כרגע לעזור להרבה חבר'ה צעירים שברחו מאזור הנובה, ולהעביר אותם למקום בטוח. אבל יש משהו בזה שהם אומרים לנו עוד 10 דקות, עוד רבע שעה, ששומר לנו על איזושהי תקווה כזאת, שעוד רגע הם יגיעו, זה עוד רגע ייגמר של צה"ל, של הצבא, עומד מול הג'יפ עם הנשקים השלופים שלהם, והבדואים ככה עוצרים את הרכב בבת אחת, ומתחילים לרדת מהאוטו, ומישהו צעק לי, תרדי מהאוטו. ואני יורדת מהאוטו, ואני נופלת בחלק הקדמי של האוטו ככה על הברכיים, כי השעה 2 בצהריים, אחרי כל כך הרבה זמן שאנחנו שוכבים בשיחים, ואני צועקת להם, לא לראות, ושלא יפגעו בהם, והם צועקים שהם אזרחי ישראל, וזה היה אחד הרגעים היותר מפחידים, כי אמרתי, ברגע אחד, מישהו אחד מוציא כדור, הם כולם יורים, היה כזה מתח באוויר, שכולם עכשיו יורים, באנשים שבאו לחלץ ובאו להציל, ונכנסו מתוך מודעות לתוך שדה קרב, והצבא, החיילים יצרו איזשהו מעגל מסביבם, ואחד הקצינים ניגש אליי, לקח אותי הצידה, וניסה להבין איך הגעתי לסיטואציה שב2 בצהריים אני נמצאת עם רכב, עם 5 גברים ערביים, ומה קורה כאן, והוא היה בטוח שאני חטופה. והוא אומר לי, את חטופה? ואמרתי לו, לא, אני לא חטופה. הם מרעת, הם באו לחלץ אותנו, אני הייתי עם הבחור הזה שגם הוא מרעת, והוא עבד אצלנו בקיבוץ, והוא אומר לי, לא, אני מבין שאת חטופה ושאת לא יכולה להגיד, את מפחדת להגיד, ואמרתי, לא, אני לא חטופה, אני אומרת, תעשי סימן שאנחנו נדע, לא, אני לא חטופה, הם אנשים טובים, ובמקביל, אישם מספר להם את מה שקרה שם. זאת הפעם הראשונה שאני מבינה, שזה לא רק בערי ואולי טיפה אלומים, אלא באמת עלו תמרות עשן מכל עוטף עזה, והשמיים היו שחורים, רכבים בצד הדרך ועל השדות, רכבים שרופים, מחוררים, רואים תשלוליות דם, פשוט תמונות ששייכות לסוף העולם. שם גרים המשפחה של עומרי, של בן הזוג שלי, ואת המשפחה האישית שלי, את עומרי והילדים, הצבא מצליח לחלץ רק סביב השעה 3:30 לפנות בוקר. תחילה לנתיבות, אחרי זה לתל אביב, ובסופו של דבר אבא של עומרי מביא אותם. ואני ככה זוכרת עצמי בממד אצלם בבית. אחרי לילה כמעט בלי שינה. כל עצימת עיניים שלי, האוזניים שומעות את הצעקות ואת היריות שלא מרפות. המידע על האנשים שנרצחים באותו יום, והחוסר אונים שאי אפשר לעשות כלום. כאילו, אני יודעת שהקהילה שלי בטבח, ואני לא יכולה לעשות כלום. אני לא יכולה להגיע לילדים שלי, אני לא יכולה לחלץ אותם. יש משהו באימהות שאת אומרת לעצמך, אני במקומות הכי קשים של הילדים שלי, אני אהיה. ופתאום אני מוצא את עצמי, שאני לא נמצאת שם במקומות הכי קשים שלהם. אני לא נמצאת שם כנראה ברגעים האחרונים שלהם, כי כל שנייה עומרי יכול לשלוח לי את ההודעה, הם אצלנו בבית עכשיו. אבל אני זוכרת את הרגע שאני אצל ההורים של עומרי, ואני שומעת הדלת נפתחת. ואני יוצאת ככה מהממד עם זרועות פתוחות, ומולי עומדים עומרי ושלושת הילדים שלנו, ולא הפסקתי לבכות. ואני אומרת, הם בחיים אחרי היום הזה שאני כל הזמן אומרת לעצמי, עוד רגע אין לי משפחה. אני מקבלת את הידיעה גם של ליאור ויצמן, החבר שלי לרכיבה. רצה לחזור הביתה, והוא נרצח בדרך. קיבוץ בארי באותו יום מאבד 102 איש. 30 נחטפים. אני אומרת לעצמי, איפה טעיתי? כל החיים שלי עשיתי טוב. אנחנו חיים 4 קילומטר מרצועת עזה, אבל נתנו להם כל שנה כסף, היינו מגייסים כל שנה כסף לאזרחים בעזה. הכנסנו אותם אלינו לקיבוץ כדי לעשות עבודות, והם היו באים לעבוד אצלנו. תמיד בחיוך, תמיד עם לחיצת יד. כשהייתי רצה בשטח, הייתי נעצרת על איזושהי גבעה, שככה הייתי מסתכלת על רצועת עזה, והייתי אומרת, וואי, איך בא לי שהגדר הזאת תוסר. איך בא לי לבוא וללחוץ להם את היד ולהגיד להם, חבר'ה, בואו נחיה ביחד. מתוך 102 איש האלה, איבדתי גם משפחה, גם חברים טובים, ואת ליאור. והזיכרון של ליאור, והזיכרון של השיחות שלנו ביחד, על החלומות שלו והרצונות שלו, ככה ליוו אותי, ואמרתי לעצמי, ליאור לא יסיים את זה, אבל השם שלו יסיים את זה. ואז בחרתי ללכת לכיוון החצי איש ברזל, שנדחה מינואר לחודש מרץ, שכל הזמן בראש ליאור. איך אני מגשימה לליאור את החלום הזה. אבל אני לא מוותרת. אני לא מוותרת על החלום, אני לא מוותרת עליך, ואנחנו עושים את זה. ובסופו של דבר עברתי ככה את שער הסיום עם הידיים מונפות אל על, ובירכתי את עצמי קודם כל שעשיתי את זה.
I'm happy to welcome Adi Rubinstein, curator of the Unbroken exhibition.
Hello everyone, my name is Adi Rubinstein and I'm the curator of the World Jewish Sports Museum in Israel and also a journalist from Israel Hayom daily newspaper. Last year I curated an exhibition called Unbroken that told the story of the October 7th through the eyes of sports. The exhibition focused on athletes who were brutally murdered, some of them doing what they love to do most, sports. Bicycle was really important part in our exhibition because we told the stories of Lior Weitzman, who were murdered during riding his bicycles. And of course the story of Ofer Calderon, which is a famous Israeli that just came back from Gaza. And on a personal note, I can tell you that one of the first things he did, he came to our exhibition in order to watch his story on the panels. And the second thing he did was erasing under his name. It was written, captured in Gaza. He erased it and changed it to finally home or now I'm free, which is pretty amazing actually. There is a straight line going between the story of Gino Bartali and Ofer Calderon and also the story of Lior Weitzman. Cycling and bicycles are never just bicycling and cycles. For example, Ofer Calderon told us that on the hardest day of his life, during when the Israeli army were bombing in Gaza and he was thought everything is going to collapse, he said, I will start thinking about bicycle and about cycling and about the power of freedom when you are riding your bikes. And that's exactly the thing Gino Bartali talked about when he did these amazing things while riding his bicycles. So I think when people telling us that it's only about bicycles, our exhibition and of course the story of Gino Bartali showing us something different. it's never only about bicycles.
Here with us in our studios, I am happy to welcome Daphna Lang, the first woman and Israeli to sit on the board of the European Cyclist Union. And Daphna, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. I want to ask you, first of all, we'd love to hear about you and what you do. And what is it about cycling that is so special and, I don't know, involves around remarkable people that makes it so different? So I would love to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to be part in this very important day, bringing up the values of Bartali. I'm the chairwoman of the Israeli Cycling Federation and also a board member of the UEC, the United European the Cyclism, the organization that manage all the cycling in Europe. Cycling, not only that it is a Olympic sport, very popular around the world. In Israel, it's also cycling bringing communities together. In Israel, cycling is a bridge for the diversity of population in Israel. And we know that this is our power. So the Israeli Cycling Federation, alongside of our aim to bring a gold medal in the Olympic Games, which we really, really hope we're going to do it in LA 2028. We also, our vision and our goal is to bring communities here in Israel to be a bridge through cycling. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but cycling is the second popular sport in the Arab community.
In the Arab world, this is the second most
here
popular.
in Israel. So the Arab community is a very, very important part of our community. And because we share the values of Bartali and the value of peace and bringing people together, I think the only sport federation even in Israel that part of our vision and strategy is to come to communities, hug them and bring them into cycling. This is the value of Bartali, that for us, this is what we do. We are very competitive. We won the gold medal in the Olympic game. We have elite riders like Rotem, but we are not only about competition. We are also about communication, collaboration, peace, and this is our values.
These are great values to share, especially these days. Rotem, thank you so much for being here. If it's okay, I would like for you to share your story, your experience, your amazing experience, and how you are feeling today. What is happening today in the world, in Europe? I know that you are living in Spain, and we spoke before. I would like for you to share what you've told me with the world.
Yes, so I'm Rotem Gafinovich. I'm a cycling racer, road cyclist, with I would say very sharp goal to race the Olympics, to represent Israel in the Olympics. And after many tryouts and many obstacles, I managed to do it last year in Paris 24. Yeah, it was 2 years of hunting points in order to get Israel to secure the spot for Israel. And on the very last moment, we got October 7th, obviously. I was out of Israel, but my word turned upside down as all of us Israelis. And in some places we got more, I would say we had to hide a little bit more than what we had to do until those days. And it's just getting worse and worse, I think. And today I'm here, still trying to look for my way, continue racing in this, in this complicated world. My last team from last year, in the last moment, decided I'm not fit anymore as I'm Israeli. And for me, hearing that from them was a very clear line that I don't want to be part of this, but also a clear understanding that in some places I'm really not wanted because of my roots. And this is something that takes me.
We started this event with a story of Professor Sergio della Pergola, who came from Italy and was saved by the good people, by the righteous among the nations, and came to Israel. And today we are hiding the fact that we are Israeli and Jewish once again. And I want to share the story of Israel and what it means to be Israeli. And I think an amazing example is you, Aya, and Hisham, but also Ran Margalit, who is with us. If we can have you online and share your story. Rotem's told me that you must speak at this event because I think this is the story of Israel that not many people know of what you are doing. Okay, so thank you for joining us first. And you opened up a foundation in the legacy of Bartali. Can you tell me what you are doing and why his story is the name of your foundation today?
Thank you. Yeah, it's not only mine. Yeah, we're a significant group of people, but together with Bartali's family, we established an Israeli nonprofit, an NGO, named after him, dedicated to leverage the power of cycling and to empower youth who usually wouldn't have access to it. Up until October 7th, we were mainly working with youth who were considered at risk, which is a large definition in Israel. We expanded it a lot. The program we currently run, we have 18 cycling centers across the country running 64 groups for almost 650 kids who train regularly, mountain bike mainly. But the real goal of this program is educational. We try to use the power of cycling to help them discover their own strength. One angle is the resilience side. How can we use cycling to improve our mental health, our emotional health? The other side is how we can use it to make an impact, to try to change our near surrounding. I think we all feel in the last last 2 years for sure, but maybe even earlier, that our ability to make a difference in our reality is quite limited, and we try to see how by spreading the word of this sport that we believe is greater than just sport. It has a greater social impact, and becoming change agents ourselves, we can make a difference in our life. So our youth is basically becoming from young participants to young leaders themselves in a gradual process of 3 years. We work, I think, in a very similar way, and in collaboration with the Israel Cycling Federation, with a variety populations, so Jews and non-Jews, Muslim Arabs, Christian Arabs, Druze. But the main goal of this program is not the bike. It's what the bike enables you. And I think if you're becoming from a young participant to just try to pass the day, feeling that you sometimes don't have any kind of aspirations or dreams, to a reality in which you feel like you can make a difference in the life of others. This is where we want to close the circle. And I think what resonates the most for me, coming from the legacy of Bartali, is how in a time of need, he asked himself a significant question that we all like to ask ourselves, which is, what should leadership look like? what is my role? If I'm, tough times happens, can't always trust the authorities, the leadership to do the right thing. So what should I just be a victim, or should I take responsibility and act? And that's what we hope our participants who later on become leaders themselves will ask themselves.
That's incredible. And I find a similarity in Bartali's story and everybody that I meet today is that something with a bike gives you endurance, the ability to endure distance, strength, and to preserve this energy and to pass it on. So I would really love for you, in the time that we have together, each of you to share a few words that you want the world to hear in the spirit of Bartali and in your own life. What is the most important thing that you want to pass on? Daphna?
I have a personal mission, is to bring the true, beautiful face of Israel to the outside nations. I feel that if each of us will reach out, and we will be able to go over the media and what people think about Israel because they haven't met Israelis. I knew that once we reach in person to people in places when the decision makers are, and they will see what is Israel is all about, what our Israelis are all about, that we are people of generosity, we are people of peace, we are people of values, that think differently about Israel. And the fact that 60 countries from the Balkans, from all over Europe, thought, okay, we know Israel because we know the Israeli cyclist, we know the Israeli chairwoman, we know they are part of us, they are good. This is my mission. I also say always to our racer when they go to international competition, you are the ambassadors of Israel, each and every one of you. It's not only about winning, it's about being the ambassador of Israel. Remember that. It might be tough. These days it's going to be very hard. Yeah. But know where you're coming from and what you are representing. Yes. And this is my mission, and I believe this is the way it's all about people. Mm-hmm. So this is my mission.
Thank you, Daphna. Rotem, as one who is out there representing us, what is your mission, your goal? What would you like to say to the world?
I would say first humanity. For me, that's the first thing we need to be first, and then I believe we will be getting it back. Related to the Bartali story of him risking his life for other people, other cultures, other simple people, I would say. Even this is something that I really look up to him, and I think this is what in the end the first thing we need to be and to show out.
To not hide anymore and to be proud. Yeah. I would like to extend also a message to each and every one of you that participated today. I would like to say that it is time to dare and ask questions of what you know, of what you think you know, and of what you do. May Bartali's mission and all of our guest stories be an inspiration to dare to ask and to do the right thing, and not to wait, not to be a victim, as Ran said, not to take things as granted, but to really ask, how much do I know and how much do I do? Thank you all for participating in this beautiful and meaningful event today. After hearing so many inspiring stories, this is our chance to share and amplify the word and the story of Gino Bartali and all the beautiful people that are choosing today to do good. Let us all stand in the right side of history and create the change in this world that we want to see. Thank you all.